I always consider myself to be really good. See, if I've got put something in my mind, I want to be the best, I'm going to be the fucking best.
Do you think it's healthier?
James Fleming is the managing director and co-founder of the Power Within Training.
He works with business leaders and teams, particularly in construction and general business setting,
to help build mindset, self-belief, and resilience.
You don't always have to be the best. What's your response to that?
Being the best at anything, right, has a financial reward to it. That's how I look at it. I set really high expectations, and my business partner and wife, we set high expectations. So we expect our staff to also be at that level. So if I don't believe my staff are good enough, guess what? They're not fucking good enough.
Right. People are making mistakes when it comes to leadership. What tips would you give them?
So the first big thing that most people do,
How pivotal do you think that was to your success?
massive. What it learned me is most business owners are full of hype. First and foremost, right?
Yeah.
The key to building a really good business is
I feel inspired just
Right,
hearing that. What a great vibe to be around that. James, welcome to the show.
thank you very much for inviting me along, Matt.
We've just been having a chat and you said there that you are just a normal guy with humble beginnings. And obviously today you've gone on to build a huge training company, multi-millions of pounds. Tell us about those humble beginnings. Are they really that humble?
Very, very humble. So born in just outskirts of Glasgow. I've got 3 sisters. I've got 1 older, 2 younger. My dad was a carpet fitter. My mum was a housewife, and she did some cleaning. And growing up, we didn't have we didn't have anything. Without being disrespectful to my mum and dad, we just never had anything. You know, we're having 4 kids, and it was always a struggle. And I used to know, right, when my dad made a good wage, right, because we'd have a Chinese on a Friday night. It was like a treat.
Yeah, things are going well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a case of, like, you had to keep your trainers and shoes in good nick. I've always have now since those early days, keep them clean, always polished, because you couldn't afford new trainers. You couldn't afford new shoes. They'd last you years, literally.
Yeah, sure. Wow.
So I grew up in an environment where, I mean, we're literally told constantly, money doesn't grow in trees, and you know that, get a job, you know, and I was terrible at school. And it wasn't that I wasn't clever enough at school, I just didn't have my attention span. See, unless I enjoyed it, Matt,
Gone.
it ain't fucking happening.
Yeah.
Like, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Like, I would sit, right, and at a very young age and think, and why are you teaching me this? Like, algebra, why? Fuck do I need to know that stuff for? So I really, really I enjoyed school, right? I never hated school. And with mates and women and all that. So I enjoyed school.
The social
I was a
element.
bit of a Jack the Lad when I was at school. But I never had anything. We never really had anything. And I think that's really what I mean for humble beginnings. Like, I left school with literally no qualifications, nothing. But I landed a job as a sparky. And I'll tell you how I did it. So I used to get and work with my dad at the summer holidays, carpet fitting. And I hated it. And I'd left school.
Okay.
And the plan was, Dad's going to teach me, I work with him, this is what's going to happen. And I remember it was like August, September, and I hated it. I just hated it. My dad was really tough on me, as you can imagine. And I said, I'm not coming back out. That's it, I'm done. I don't want to be a carpet fitter. The next day, he came in and he said, you found a fucking, excuse the language, but you all right for me swearing?
Yeah, but you have
okay.
No, we can't.
Well, tough doing it.
Bit fucking late.
Have you got a fucking job yet? And I'm like, I've been looking. And he says, no son of mine. This was on a Thursday night. So he came in for work and he says, no son of mine will sleep under this roof rent free. And he grabbed the big yellow pages. I don't know if you remember them, right? Big yellow. And he threw it at me. And he says, find yourself a fucking job. Wow. So the next day, this is the Friday, I gets up, and then you didn't have mobile phones. It was the old
dial
phones.
Yeah.
So I get, I thought, what does I want to do as a job? What do I want? I had no idea. I knew I wasn't good. I love football, wasn't good enough. Like, didn't have enough passion to want to be good enough. And I thought, what do I want to do? And I'll never forget when we were young, when I was growing up, we had the big, the big fat TVs and they put coins in them and all that, right, to keep your TV running. And every time the TV broke down, this wee guy would turn up with a brown coverall and a wee briefcase, and he'd take the TV apart and fix whatever it was, and the TV would start working. And every time he left, my mum used to say, "But B's just cost me a fortune."
Okay, so he gets money.
He makes money.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, TV repair guys must make good money. So I got the Yellow Pages TV repair, appliance repair, and I phoned every single number in our area on that Yellow Pages.
Wow.
No. And by the way, I really swear on this, my finger was literally bleeding that I dialed that many numbers.
Wow.
I got through electrical, and then I thought, okay, what else is there? Electrician. So I thought, okay, I'll phone them. So I phoned all these electrical companies again. No. I've took on our apprentices for a year. No. And this was 3.5 hours I was at this. And I was scunnered. I was really just like, oh. And the phone rang. And I'm sitting, the phone used to sit in the hall, right, where the Yellow Pages, that's it. So all your phone was in the hall with the big long cable. And I remember I was sitting there and I was still going through it, and the phone rang. So I picked the phone up and said, "Hi, hello." And a guy said, "Hi, it's Brian Turpey here. A young guy's just phoned here looking for a job." "Yeah, that's me. He says, "Listen," he says, "we never get anybody phoning." He says, "I would like you to come down for an interview." He says, "We don't actually have any places, but I want you to come down and do an interview." And I'm like, "Aye, no worries. Put the phone down. Forgot to fucking ask who it was. That's what company it was. So to go back to the Yellow Pages,
And ring them all.
well, I knew with the company name, so I could remember Brian Turpey from, and I'm like, what was the name of that? Where am I going?
Okay.
I never asked where or anything. Never asked where I'm going for an interview.
You're just so happy that you got something.
I
Yeah.
was ecstatic.
Yeah. So
So I had to phone a few different companies eventually. I says, "Listen, I've just had a call from a guy called Brian Turpey." Yeah. It's weird, McQuiston. So, right, here you're going. So I had to jump on a bus. So I went away up. Now, we didn't have suits. The only suits you had then were your funeral suits, right? So I had this black funeral suit on that was too wee, and a tie on, and bloody short trousers were too short. And I jumped on the bus, and I went down to my local, main town. And it was an industrial estate. And I went to the door, and I was shitting myself. I'd never been in an interview before. And I walked in the door, and this lady came out and she said, "James, yeah." She says, "Just go into this." So she took me into like in a boardroom, this office boardroom. And I was just sitting there, and this guy comes in, Brian Turpey. So Brian comes in, and he says, "Look," he says, "we never get MD phoning." He says, "I just wanted to meet you, and I wanted to do a quick interview." He says, "But before we do that," he says, "I need you to take a colour blindness test." I'm thinking, what? So I did this colour blindness test. Obviously, you need to be able to see colours if you're electrical. Now, remember, I didn't know it was I was electrical. I still thought it was fixing TVs.
Oh, wow.
Well, wait to hear this.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking TVs. So I did the colour blindness test, and I passed that. And then he gave me this. It's an aptitude test. It's called a SEC test now, but then it was just an aptitude test. And I took the test. I think I got 95% on the aptitude test. Common sense, right? I've always had loads and loads of common sense. And I did that, and I passed it, and he came back in and he says, "Oh, congratulations." He says, "You've passed it in flying colours. You start on Monday." And I'm like, "What?" He says, "Monday morning, 8 o'clock, I want you, the workshop is at the back of here. I want you here Monday morning, 8 o'clock. Well done, wee man." So I leaves, and because I hooked on their mobile phones, so I had to wait till I got home and tell my mum, and my dad came in. I'm like, "Dad, I've got a job. I'm going to fix TVs." My dad's like, "Oh, so proud. Well done, wee man. I'll take you down on Monday morning." So Monday morning comes around, takes me down and showed him where it is, says, "Right, you have to go round the back." So I go round the back, and I see all these guys standing with boots and coveralls and hard hats. And I'm thinking to myself, the fuck the TVs am I fixing? I still hadn't clicked, by the way. So my dad chucks me out the van. So I walks into the back of the workshop, and a wee guy comes out and says, "James, come with me." And he takes me up these stairs. It was a storeroom above the workshop. Went into a storeroom, and he says, "Right, I need your coveralls and sign for your boots, and what size are you?" "Right, okay." And then he says, "Right, here's your toolbox. It's all kitted out." He says, "Just open up. You've got a wee check sheet there. Make sure you check it." And I'm opening them. I'm seeing hammers and chisels, and I'm thinking, the fuck kind of TVs am I fixing here?
Yeah.
Like these big ass TVs or something. And then, so I'd got to that, and then a guy called Andy Eady, who was my very first ever boss, he says, right, you're coming with me, wee man. And he took me out to a place called Kirkintilloch Job Centre. Now, this was a big metal building in the middle of a cowfield, right? Up to my knees in muck. And it wasn't until I actually went onto the site and I realised, fuck, I'm no fixing TVs. I'm a Sparky.
Yeah.
And that's how it started.
And how old were you?
I was 17.
So from there to now being an author, podcaster, business owner, because that just feels worlds apart.
Yeah,
from
it
that.
was worlds apart.
How did that happen?
So when I was, so I got my time served. So I obviously explained that I wasn't very good at school. When I say very good, I didn't have enough interest in things. If something interested me, I was really good.
Yeah.
Like I love geography. I was top of the class in geography. I just love learning about the world. So when it's interesting, I'm in. So anyway, I remember going to college and all the guys were the physics, what they called it O grades, and I thought, we can't, cat fast standard 5s or something. Is that something? Anyway,
No idea.
They call it. So then it was called O grades, right? So these are the physics O grades and maths O grades. I had none of that. So they could all do all the, because everything was done in a calculator.
Yeah.
You know, cos, sine, tan. I hadn't a clue, so I had to put in even extra effort because I felt thick.
Yeah.
Because all these guys could, they could do all these calculations. Well, as I said, when I used to see maths and algebra and I'm like, what am I doing this for? Anyway, long story short, I really stuck in at college. And then I got my time served. So I was on a building site and I was 21 years old and I was running the job. So it was a couple of £1 million job I was on. And I had maybe about 6 or 7 guys that reported to me. And I remember sitting, and it was around September, October time. It was quite cold. And I remember they're walking onto the job and I'm sitting and it was like, getting out their work. And they were miserable. They were absolutely miserable. In their 40s. And I thought,
That's my
surely
future.
Exactly.
Right.
Sure, there's got to be more than this. So I thought, okay, well, I already been through the learning curve by now because I'd been to college, I'd learned. So I was in the learning curve. I thought, well, why don't I just go back to college? So I'm back to college. And I did an HND in mechanical electronic engineering. It was called mechatronics. And once I got that, I joined what they call the semi-fab industry. You know, Intel, the processors. Well, I never made the processors. I used to design the electrical systems.
Wow.
For putting the processor machines in, the volt drops, the cable sizes. And I joined them and I moved to Ireland. So, wee guy from Glasgow, no qualifications, all of a sudden he's working in Ireland for Intel Pentium processors.
Wow.
And I lived in Dublin. Well, actually just outside Dublin, a place called County Kildare. So I did that for a couple of years and I hated it. I don't know if you've ever heard of the clean room environment with the white suits on and the masks and, well, that was me.
Right.
So you worked 4 days on, 4 days off, 4 nights on, 4 nights off. So that was your shift pattern. I fucking hated it. I loved the job, but I hated the clean room environment. This constantly, you felt like you were suffocating all the time, and you worked in this environment. Yeah. All right, sometimes you were doing the designs on there, but every time it was getting installed, you had to be on location. So I didn't really enjoy it. And apparently, I'd posted my CV online. Now, this is going back 1998, 97, 98. And then it was quite a big thing to post your CV online. I don't actually remember doing it, but apparently I'd posted my CV. So anyway, I got a phone call for a company called Baker Hughes, oil and gas company. I never knew that. So I got a phone call saying, look, got your CV, we'd like to interview you on the Thistle Hotel in Glasgow. Okay, no worries, packed my shit over to Glasgow, went for the interview, and this was in December 1997. And I went to the Thistle Hotel. It was about, I can't remember, the 7th or 8th of December. And I went in this room. So it was a hotel room. There's 2 guys sitting with a big TV. And they said, look, all I'm going to do is play a video. At the end of the video, I want you to tell me if you know anything about this, what the video's explaining. So put in the video. And lucky, everything that came on the video was about centrifugal pumps, variable speed drives. And I'm thinking, I know this shit. So I could talk about it.
Yeah.
And I was saying, what about this? And have you thought about that? And they're like, you're hired.
Wow.
Like, I was literally, you're hired. The job's yours. So I became an engineer in the oil and gas industry.
Wow.
So I was what they call, so I had to go up to Aberdeen and I did like 16 weeks training, day offshore survival and product knowledge and all that stuff. And because of my electrical background, I was a commissioning engineer. So they used to fly me all over the world, Matt.
Wow.
So one day I'd been, 1 week I'd been in Australia, then I'd been in Lithuania, I lived in Africa, I was in Africa for nearly a year, and I was just all over the world. And I ended up, by default, in the Middle East. And what had happened, I was working in Yemen on a job in Yemen, and one of the managers, one of the field service managers, he was a golfer, and he'd hurt his back playing golf. So they says to me, look, I know you're near the end of your rotation. Will you go to a man and cover till for him for a few weeks? I said, no worries. I loved money, right? Loved money. So I'm like, I'm happy to do that. So I went to Oman to cover for this guy for a few weeks. It turned into 3.5 years.
Wow. Right.
Living in Oman.
Right.
And then when I was in Oman, so I always consider myself to be really good. See, if I've put something in my mind, I want to be the best, I'm going to be the fucking best. Like, I will learn, I will study, I'll do whatever it takes. I want to be the best.
And anything you apply yourself to, is that the mindset? I have to be the best.
I want to be the best all the time. So it's not, I have to be the best. I want to be. I want people to go, oh, you should work with James or James. I want to be the best at what I do.
Why?
It's not I have to be.
Why do you think that is?
It's just, I don't know.
Okay.
I'm still like that right now.
Really?
I actually believe I'm the best at what I do. I don't think there's another leadership training company on the planet that does this as good at what we do.
Do you think it's healthy?
Is it what, sorry?
Healthy. Having that always needing or always wanting to be the best.
So far,
we're doing
it's
all
worked.
right. Okay.
Right, so far. However, I suppose maybe the older I get, I don't have the same desire to be. Okay, that's maybe a wee bit of a lie, right? Because I still want to be the best.
I really feel that talking to you.
Because I'm so passionate.
Yeah.
Right? What we do, what our company does, I think we're the best in the planet. Like, I don't think there's anybody comes close to what we do. In fact, our customers say it. So I don't even need to say it.
Yeah.
We've built a tribe people who, once you've been on one of our training courses, Matt, it never leaves you. It's life-changing. And I'm really proud of that.
Yeah.
But I also have got to remember that there's lots of other companies that'll start to be seeing what we do, and they'll start to do a version of it. So I need to be ahead of the game all the time. I always need to be thinking, neurodivergency, what's next? How can I make it better? And it's constant, by the way, teeny wee improvement.
Right.
That's it.
Yep.
Just to make it like a little bit better. No, I don't run the courses any longer. I do the odd one. So we've got trainers and staff, all full-time staff. We don't have any consultants. It's all full-time staff. It's all full-time coaches. We've got our own coaching portal, everything. So I still always want to be the best, right? But I don't think it's unhealthy, and I'll tell you why. Because it's helped me, right? And it helps people. So when I talk to people about what we do, people, they see the passion, they get it. Like, this guy is really passionate. He really believes it. And guess what? If I believe it, it's true.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's perception.
And I really feel that being in your presence. Like,
Yeah.
It's not a fake
No,
passion.
this is it.
It's like through your blood, isn't it?
This is it. This is exactly it.
What about when people say, but you shouldn't always be striving and it's okay for other people? It's okay. You don't always have to be the best. What's your response to that?
I would probably say, okay, you don't, but being the best at anything, right, has a financial reward to it. That's how I look at it. If I'm the best leadership company in the UK, my staff are going to make shitloads of money. I'm going to be able to offer better money, better conditions. I mean, all my staff, everybody is all home-based. So they all work from home. They're allowed to go to the gym during the day. I don't care.
Yeah.
I honestly don't care.
Whereas if you don't have the revenue, that's when you care and you're like, I need you in the office.
Exactly.
That's the thing people don't always talk about when it comes to making money. They think, oh, it's greedy to always want more. No, you can actually do things better, which therefore has that ripple effect. So everybody gains when there's more money there.
For example, so our Christmas, so we're taking our staff, flying them off, because they're all over the UK, so we're flying them up, putting them in hotels, food, drink, party night.
God, I hope my team aren't listening.
Yeah.
We ain't doing any of that.
But it's because they work hard.
Yeah, it's because you're more successful.
And by the way, see this, I want to go back to the want to be the best.
Sure.
I set really high expectations because I set high expectations for me and my business partner and wife. We set high expectations. So we expect our staff to also be at that level. because people will rise and they will fall to your expectations. So if I don't believe my staff are good enough, guess what? They're not fucking good enough.
Right.
Like, because that's my perception. So I am going to, by default, not put the same effort and time with my staff. Like, for example, every Monday morning meeting we have, this is how I talk to the staff. I'll say, wow, look at the team we have built. Holy shit, I never imagined I would. That's how I talk to them.
I feel inspired just hearing that.
That's how I talk to my staff.
What a great vibe to be around that.
I talk to my staff like that. Oh, like, don't get me wrong. They also know don't piss me off.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm a really good guy. And it's okay to make mistakes, but don't keep making the same mistake, because that's failure.
Yeah.
That's different. So I've got high expectations because I have of myself. And my wife's exactly the same.
This episode is sponsored by Dr. Tania King-Mohammad. She is the high ticket woman, the #1 best-selling author of the high ticket method, and one of the most sought after high ticket experts in the game. Basically, if you are an entrepreneur who is serious about scaling their business, you need to grab a copy of her book right now. Literally, I have read it and it is a game changer. It will blow your flipping mind. Tania is the mentor that the entrepreneurs call once they are finished playing small and are ready to start charging their worth. Working with Tania is all about creating consistent high-ticket sales and doing it in a way where you can create a freedom-level income without the constant hustle and grind like a lot of the other mentors bang on about. If you're listening to this show, you already know you're somebody that's meant for more and is willing to go and work for it. So basically, you need to get into Tania's world. Go and grab a copy of her book right now on Amazon and make sure you give her a cheeky little follow on Instagram. She is at Freedom with Tania and she's consistently giving strategies, tips and advice over there for free so you can start charging your worth and actually starting to believe in it.
You talk about, obviously, the big thing you do with your training is around leadership and leadership skills and so on. I, as somebody who started a business at 19, no idea what I'm doing. Then you're presented with a position where you suddenly hire people. Sometimes you're hiring people as somebody in their early 20s that are 10 years older than you, 20 years. Yeah. And nobody had taught me leadership and how to be a leader. What are some of the tips you could give in terms of when you see people are making mistakes when it comes to leadership? What tips would you give them?
So the first big thing that most people do, they think leadership is about knowing everything. It's fucking not.
Yeah. So then they fake it, then they pretend they know everything.
So you don't need to know everything.
Right.
And it's going back to something we talked about earlier. Find people who are really good at the things you're not very good at.
Sure.
Right? So if I know my strengths. I'm also very aware of my weaknesses. So
it starts with self-awareness of your own strengths and weaknesses first.
You cannot lead anyone until you first learn to lead yourself. So self-leadership is critical. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. You don't have to have all the answers. You don't. And another thing is, it's sometimes really easy, and you'll get this right, it's sometimes really easy to think, I'll just do it myself because then I'll just get done.
Yeah.
That's not good leadership.
No.
Because what you're doing is you're burning yourself out. You're always been Mr. Fixer. Yes, it might take people in your team to learn it a little bit longer, but guess what? I had no idea what I was doing when I first joined business. I think I'm shit hot at what I do now. You know, leadership was we started off doing self-leadership for small business owners because I used to do, when I first came back to the UK, I never knew anything. I never knew that I'd been away for 20 odd years. I lived outside the UK for about 20 odd years. So I never really knew about really anything about business because I was oil and gas. I was a senior person, I understand finance and all that, but I never really understood what it was like to be a business owner. So I did networking. I was a serial networker.
Right.
And I mean, I was at 3, 4, 5 events a week, and every opportunity to get to talk, I would go talk.
Where did that come from? Why did you know that was the thing you needed to do?
I didn't know.
Okay.
This is how networking actually came into my life. So as soon as we set up the company, we joined the Bank of Scotland. And the Bank of Scotland, the woman who was the managing our business, we'll call it, business manager for startup, she invited us to a networking event. It was, what's that big networking company? They're all over. I can't remember. Anyway, the famous big networking company. They do, I can't even remember. Do you remember what they're called? BNI.
Oh, yeah.
BNI.
Yeah.
So she took me to a BNI, and I was watching all these people and they're standing up at the top of the business. I'm like, this looks quite good, this is quite interesting. But I went with her, and then I thought, right, I'm going to have to start networking. This is my first networking event I ever went to myself, right, was up in Aberdeen, because when we first moved back, we moved to Aberdeen. We live in Glasgow now, but we first moved back to Aberdeen. And I remember walking into this, it was a sports centre, and there was a big networking event upstairs. And I was absolutely shitting it. And I'm a very confident person. I walked up the stairs, I walked by the room, I looked in, I walked back down the stairs, I went into the toilet, I was sitting in the toilet going, James, it's only a fucking networking event. Go in. Nobody knows you, just go.
Yeah.
So I plucked up the courage and I walked in and I was held myself high, and I just walked out a group of people and I said, hi, how are you doing? I'm James, nice to meet you. I started blathering. And that was my first, and I thought, okay, I need to keep doing this, because I was still really uncomfortable. I didn't know what to say. I really didn't know how to introduce myself properly, because I was completely out of my comfort zone. So I just started going to every networking event I could.
How pivotal do you think that was to your success?
Massive.
Right.
Massive. Initially. Because what it learned me is most business owners are full of shite. First and foremost, right?
Yeah, you got to see that quick.
So many of these, I'm not having a go at micro business. I always think about the business world, micro business, small business world. It's like everybody's fishing in the same pond.
Right.
It's full of fucking sharks.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
It's full of sharks. Because it's like going back to what you talked about earlier. People, they get desperate.
Yes.
Right? Because you're all in, you need to make this work. So people get desperate. And what I noticed really quickly was people were saying one thing, but the real story was something completely different. And I always used to think, like, why do we say this? Why do we not tell the truth? Why do we not say how hard things can be? Why do we know, and by the way, we're not very good at it in the UK, why do we not support other businesses or entrepreneurs, and why don't we do that shit? So I thought, I was hearing time and time again people saying, they're in business, I'm terrible at sales, I hate being salesy. I said, how the fuck are you going to grow your business if you're not good at sales? Like, you don't need to just talk about your business. Like, sales is just talking about your business. Letting people talk first and seeing if you can offer them a product or service that's going to help them.
Yeah.
So that led to my first training program, and it was called Self-Leadership Development. So started the business in February 2017, ran my very first ever workshop. Now, I did loads and loads of small micro workshops because I was learning my craft and learning my trade and what worked and what didn't work, because I didn't want it to be the same old bullshit. I wanted my content to be something new. And I knew that it had to attach to somebody's emotions. People had to come in and experience something that they probably hadn't experienced before. So we had all of our events in the Hiltons, so 4 5-star hotels. We put on nice food for everybody. And my God, did I perform. I mean, I went up for 8 hours and I performed. I felt like I'd went 20 rounds with Tyson every time I finished. I was shattered. But everybody that left that first event, so what I did is I had 6 people paid and 6 people were invited. So the people invited along were business owners, like successful business owners. And I thought, the only way I'm going to know if this works is to do it. So on this very first, it was 11th of November 2017, Doubletree Hilton in Bellshill. And after the event, I had people crying and everything, man.
Wow.
People were just like, what the fuck did I just experience here? And that's when I knew. I said to my wife and business partner, because we built the course together, I says, this is I know what I'm good at. This is it. And we just slightly tweaked it and we made it a wee bit better. And then we made sales and leadership development. So because most people are complaining about sales, and I'm like, well, sales is not hard. You just got to have a pipeline. And where do you fight the pipeline? And so we started teaching sales and leadership development. And then I had one guy, this is how we're quite big in the construction sector. So I had this one guy who came to my program, and he'd a joinery company. And I remember after one of the programs, he says to me, James, everything you've talked about, that's me. I'm really, really struggling. I'm wanting all this work and I've never get any money and blah, blah, blah. And I sat down with the guy and I had a chat with him after the event. And he says, will you help me? I said, of course I'll help you. So anyway, took him on as a client. I didn't really, as I said to you before, I'm not a good business coach because I'm black and white.
Yeah.
So anyway, took this guy on as a client, and we started to turn things around quite quick. Get him to understand these numbers and markup and margin and all that stuff. And then he put somebody else in the industry onto me, and then they put somebody else. So before I know it, we've got these construction businesses. And what I noticed, I think it was in the fifth client, I thought every one of them have got the exact same problems. Exact same problems. I thought, why don't I build a training course to help them? So I built a thing called the Business Growth Academy. And it was literally day one, mindset. Day two, the second, so it was half days I ran them. Next day was, so mindset, then it was motivational intelligence, then it was know your numbers, and then it was building successful businesses and teams, and really teaching people for the scratch what it takes to be successful in business. And it fucking blew up. It blew up.
You mentioned,
and that was during COVID, by the way.
Oh wow! Okay.
Oh, that's a story.
When a lot of businesses were struggling,
we were.
You went bigger.
We thought our business was going under at COVID
because it was all in person.
Everything we did was in person.
Wow!
So when we built the Business Growth Academy, initially in person, and we could only obviously do it in Scotland because you had to fill in a class and all that. And all of a sudden, I actually thought the business was done. I remember sitting crying. I'm no friend. I was sitting in tears, going, everything we've built for the last 2.5 years is gone. My wife said, James, it's still there. We just need to find a different way to do it. The people are all there. We've got the content. We just need to find a new way. So we emptied our bank. We get 10 grand off the government for a COVID loan, and we invested in online. So we, Upwork and all that. So we were using Upwork and Fiverr and hiring these people to build training courses for us. And we ran our first course in the end of April. So remember, this end of March, COVID. End of April, we're ready to run our first course.
Wow. Quick turnaround.
See, by the August, we'd made more money for April to August we'd made the previous 2 years.
Wow. And that just shows the importance
Everybody's
of being able
at
to
home.
adapt, to be able to find solutions.
Exactly.
When so many people would just fold.
Stick their head under the sand and hope it goes away.
You spoke about motivational intelligence.
Yes.
Tell us, what's that concept?
Okay, so there's a lot of science behind it, neuroscience and cognitive science. In fact, some of the science, obviously I designed it, and I did a lot of studies. So I studied for about 16 years, right, through all my career, studying highly successful people. What makes somebody successful? And honestly, it's mindset.
Yeah.
That's it. There's no other way to say this than your mind, your perception of who you are, who you're not. So motivational intelligence, I call it a third level of intelligence. You've heard the IQ.
Yeah.
Right. That's our logical problem solving skills. EQs are emotional skills, right? Yeah. But there's something that drives your emotions, and it's normally fear or opportunity. That's what motivational intelligence is. So it's your ability to manage, to first of all identify and manage negative thoughts and self-limiting beliefs in order to overcome your obstacles. Because if you're aware that you're having, so every time you have a negative thought, see if you're aware that this thought isn't really good drive going to go anywhere, what's the opposite? Okay, so I can't do that. No, not yet, but I can learn. Completely different concept. Like one shuts you off, one's done.
Yep.
Another one is, well, I could find a way. And that's what motivational intelligence is. It is really, now in the world of leadership, how it works is, so you're a leader, right? And let's say you've got a lot of limiting beliefs around your team and, why does nobody like me and what is it they don't get? You're going to put that onto them. Subconsciously, you're going to put that onto them, right?
Right.
So what we teach is everybody in your business or organisation has unlimited potential. And what does that mean by that? Are you going, do you have the ability to be better tomorrow than you are today?
Yeah.
Of course you do. Right? But what a lot of people get wrong with unlimited potential is they think, oh, well, so that means I can be anything I want. No, really, right? Because for me and you, that ship is probably sailed, right? Yeah. We're not going to be professional footballers or world-class athletes. That's not what we're saying. What we are saying is if you consistently take actions and constantly try and improve, and you do that for 6 months, a year, you've improved thousands of %. Like, imagine. Oh, really? So if I can just be a little bit better tomorrow than I'm today. But you've got to, as a leader, you've got to empower your staff to do that. You've got to ask questions. Don't tell.
Yeah.
Don't tell them what you want.
It's all about asking better questions.
It's all about asking better questions. That's it. That's the world, by the way.
So we obviously have built into us negativity bias. It's much easier.
It's
to
evolution,
focus on
remember.
Right.
It's evolution.
So how do you train somebody to get that self-awareness muscle stronger so that they start to be more aware of those thoughts so that they can catch them to then reframe them?
Exactly as you said. Imagine you go to the gym, right? You don't go to the gym and work for 9 hours and have muscles. You kill yourself doing that, right? You go to the gym for 45 minutes and you go gym consistently. So I'm a big gym user, right? So I'm in the gym 6 days a week. It's exactly the same. The muscle and the mind is exactly the same. It's just taking the right. I see if we can always catch ourselves when we say things like, I can't do that. I can't do that. Right? No, I say I can't, but that's because I don't fucking want to. So I'll say, I'm not interested, right?
Yeah.
But it's about being aware of, is this the right thought? Is the way that I'm talking to myself is this the way that I'm talking to myself benefiting me?
Yeah, is it useful?
Is this useful? And if the answer's no, what's the opposite of that? Now, something magical happens. Because see when you train your brain to think positive, always have a solution, always for an answer. I look at life, every single challenge is an opportunity. I just don't know what it is, but I'm going to find it.
Yeah.
Everything. And I've built that muscle so that I actually do not think negative most of the time. Now, that's an exact opposite because most human beings are 80% negative, particularly adults.
Yeah.
So you think 80% of the time is negative.
Close-minded.
Close-minded, I can't. Through life's experiences and, you know, it's like the knocks you get back in life. You know, I think was it Sylvester Stallone says, it ain't how hard you hit, it's how hard you can hit and get back up.
Yep.
That's mindset.
Yeah.
That's all that is. That's just self-belief.
And I think also, making it fun, seeing it as a game.
Absolutely.
Like, we just get to try and figure out a solution.
Not always fun, right enough.
It's not always fun, no. But if you can quickly go, oh, here we go again. We've got through stuff before. We'll get through it again. What for me, humour helps.
Yeah.
Like finding the fun in it and being able to laugh at myself, going, "Fucking hell, what a state we're in today!" Like, what a mess.
Humour's massive.
It is, isn't it?
Right. So one of our core values is authenticity. Right. So we've got 5 core values. The whole business. So everybody we hire in our core values, and authenticity is about being who you say you are, being authentic, and having fucking fun.
Yeah.
I mean, there probably isn't a day goes by that me and my business partner are pissing ourselves laughing at something we've done.
I love that.
We
that.
have so much. We even laugh about the shit that we should laugh about.
Yeah.
Like, you want to cry.
Yeah.
You really want to have a right good cry, and you're like, we just have a laugh because everything looks different when you have a laugh.
Yeah.
It just feels different.
Yeah.
So I love that.
What about the flip side, though? Has there been times, because I think it's important we do shine a light on the reality of, especially those earlier days of building a business, there can be some really tough times, and especially if you've not done a lot of the mindset work and you're still earlier on that journey. What are some of the worst times that you went through?
So first of all, I want to start with answering that question with personal development. Personal development is huge. Right, reading really good books, listening. If you're Tony Robbins, is it Tony Robbins? What's his name? Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
If you're a Tony Robbins fan or anything, I'm not a big fan, Tony, but it's anything that can help you. I mean, I'm a huge audiobook person.
Yeah, so
I listen to an audiobook almost every single day of my life.
Nice.
And I'm always, the key is always learning. We'll listen to a book 3 or 4 times. See if it's good. I'll listen to it 3 or 4 times because every time I listen, I pick up something. So personal development is critical to the mindset, right? For me. Tough times. Well, I think in the early days, right, I'll put my car up for sale. I put my watches up for sale. We put our jewellery up for sale because we had nothing. We had spent every penny we had. We'd emptied our bank accounts. And there was days I was like, we were shopping, right, in supermarkets. You know that reduced food? We were looking for the food reduced. My poor wife. Now remember, I went from making £500,000 a year, basic salary, to nothing. I used to believe that when I was in the oil and gas industry, it was almost like I had my own personal cash machine because it was always full of money.
Yeah.
Right? I had a lavish lifestyle. And all of
Just
a sudden,
quickly as well, what was that like from somebody who grew up not having money to that? What was that like from a mindset shift perspective?
So I had a terrible money mindset.
Okay.
Because I always believed, as I grew up, I knew my dad had money. Because my dad had money, we bought Chinese, or we'd get bought something, we'd spend it, right? So I always believed that success was about making money. And when you made money, you spent it. I've blew, and I mean blew, millions. Millions of blew. I never realised the value of money till I started a business. Because it was just always like, I just made money. I always found a way to make money. And then all of a sudden you run a business and it's a different ballgame because you don't have a personal cash machine.
Yeah.
Every penny counts. You know, an extra £5 for marketing. Could that make me 20 quid? Could that make me 100 quid? That's how you start to think. You know, for example, cars, like I don't need a fancy car. I've got a nice car now, but I don't need it because it's only to get me from A to B. Right? So material things become, like I still do love nice clothes and I love nice shoes and all that, but I don't spend the way I used to.
Right.
I now, you know, I'll spend, you know, buy expensive shoes, but they'll last me for 20 years.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not one of those fashion, you know, it comes and goes and it's away and it's in the cupboard, you know. So I've learned money, I have a different mindset around money now. You know, I understand that I love money. I love nice things. I've got a nice car, I've got a nice house, but they've been hard work. You know, I said, selling the car, selling our jewellery, not having money to put on the table. And by the way, even up until, you know, recently, we had the largest quarter. We made over nearly £700,000 Jan, February, March. And then April, May, June, nothing.
Wow.
July, August, literally, you're like, what the fuck? So you still have those.
And you've still got your expenses every month, right?
I've got 17 staff.
Wow.
I've got tax, I've got national insurance. Don't
even start on that. And marketing.
It never goes, our marketing budget's scary.
Yeah.
Marketing teams, you know, because you cannot grow unless you're willing to take risks.
Yeah.
You just can't. You just can't. And it's calculated risks.
This episode is sponsored by Laura Robson and Back Pocket Office. Now, let me tell you about this one. Laura is somebody you need in your life. I have got her in my life, and all I can say about her is I don't know how I'd live without her. And it's true. If you're anything like me, you will hate tech. You'll be great at launching and creating the marketing material and delivering on the actual product that you're selling. But when it comes to the back end, making sure it's all automated and it all works, I just can't be bothered. And if you're the same, Laura is the solution. Laura is a systems strategist and she's also a certified launch and funnel specialist. And if you are a service provider, if you're a coach, consultant, any kind of online business that provides some kind of online service, then Laura is there to help sort out all your funnels and systems for you. With over 14 years experience, she's somebody who's going to get you solutions quick. She's easy to speak to, very approachable, and just really friendly and nice, basically. So if you are ready to get your systems and your funnels all sorted for you and work with one of the best in the business, go check out backpocketoffice.co.uk and connect with Laura on socials. The links are literally right below this episode in the show notes. Go click it, and I mean this. Go and do it now. You will not regret it.
Have you always been a risk taker?
Yes. Always.
Yeah, and you
Always.
And you think you absolutely have to be to grow in business.
Absolutely have to be. But I've got to say it's good to have somebody in the business or a business partner who is risk averse, not as risk averse or more risk averse than you.
Yeah.
To hold you back. Because see, in those early days, because I'm such a risk taker, I lost a lot of money in business.
Yeah.
And I actually started to say to my business partner, I will never make a bid decision again with us agreeing on it first.
Yeah,
and it's never stopped. So
Yeah.
we never make big decisions unless we both agree
Yeah.
that's the right path. Now, there'll be sometimes we'll have an argument about it. I'll go, you're too risky.
Yeah.
And she'll go, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But that's what you need.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The yin to the yang kind
It's
of
the
thing.
yin and the yang. Absolutely. That is absolutely critical.
So going back to the time when you were selling your car.
Yeah.
Going through that.
So I actually didn't have to sell my car, but I put it up for sale. You know, one of those sites where you take the car along, what you call it? Buyanycar.com.
Yeah.
So I'd booked it in for the Thursday, right? Thursday or the Friday to take my car to sell the car. One of the people that came on my training courses, right, had contacted her. She was on the phone to her niece when she was on my training course. And after it, she says, look, would you mind speaking to my niece, she works for a pharmaceutical company. She's a training development manager for this big pharmaceutical company. She's like, she's having a really hard time. She's on a training course and she's some NLP. I'm an NLP master practitioner. So, and she was saying that she's really finding it hard. I says, of course, I give my phone number. So anyway, she phones me that evening and she's on the phone, she's crying. And she's telling me all these horrendous stories about the course and the trainer, and I'm going, that's wrong.
Wow.
Like, that's not right. Anyways, and then she phoned me the next day and says, how are you feeling today? And I'm good. Listen, you know, I'm here. If you need me, call me anytime. Even if it's to run something past me. You know, she phoned me, she phoned me this Saturday, she phoned me on the Sunday. She says, so she phoned me the Sunday, says, by the way, I'm back up in Scotland. Are you okay to meet for a coffee? And I says, yeah. I says, when? She says, how about Tuesday? No, remember, I'm putting my car up for sale. It's going in on the Friday. So I met her on the Tuesday. She said, look, I'm running a new sales program for our sales staff right across the UK. Would you, somebody's let me down. Would you mind coming running a program around sales and leadership? She says, my auntie was on your course and she has no stop. And her auntie's right into development and really high position in a business. She says, and she's never stopped talking about this course. She says, I mean, she's just constantly, could you build me something around the sales mindset? I says, of course I can. So I'm like, and she says, you know, have you got a kind of cost? And I says, I probably need to think about it. So you're probably talking between £4,000 and £5,000. I says to come in, there's 2 days. And she said, that's no worries. So back in there, sent her away. I was trying to play it cool, right?
Yeah.
Straight
the money in, get it in.
Invoiced her. She paid it the same day.
Yeah.
And I thought I sold it too cheap.
Yeah, well, of course, yeah.
But it was £4,000.
And we're out
that
of the
was
woods.
8 years ago.
Yeah.
So that was me, was at the woods.
Yeah.
Didn't have to sell the car.
Yeah.
And then we
Doesn't that just say a lot? Just the fact you were so open and giving, you were there on the phone.
That's
even though
it.
you were struggling, you were still there giving your time
pay
to
it forward.
people. Right.
Pay it forward. Our whole business revolves around paying it forward. You know, we take on, so our social responsibility, we take on normally 5 or 6 clients a year free. So business owners that are struggling can't afford, because our coaching's, I mean, I reckon we're the best and it's not cheap. So we have people, we give it free. See if somebody comes to me and they're like really needing help and they can't afford it.
Like an apprenticeship.
Aye,
Like
I'll say, you know what, don't worry about it.
scholarship, yeah.
So what I'll do, because I've got coaches, so what I'll say is, what I'll do is, I'll give you 6 months free coaching.
Yeah.
I'll get the coach to contact you, and I just
Nice.
go. And by the way, people have come back, made it in business, and came back and said, by the way, there's that $3,500.
Wow. That's beautiful.
That's amazing.
That's a nice thing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? Because they don't need to.
Yeah.
And they've come back and they've said the amount of value that I
Yeah,
got.
I can't not pay you back.
Yeah. And we go into schools and we talk about mindset in schools. So we do free training courses in schools.
Yeah.
And it's normally for kids that are from tough backgrounds.
Yeah.
Right? And I remember I went to this one school and it was about 40 kids, and the head teacher had said, look, they're all ages kind of 14, 15, 16. She said, these are the toughest kids in the school, that and tough eyes and back, you know, really challenging, you know, no get great family lives. She says, so I don't know how this is going to go. So I went up for an hour and a half and did this presentation and engaging, involving. You could hardly hear a pin drop. They were absolutely engrossed. And there was the local police and all that were there as well, right? And the policeman come up, the head teacher come up after it and she says, James, that was incredible. She says, you've changed the kids' lives.
That's huge.
And the policeman come up and goes, I've never seen anything like that. And it's just authenticity. I know what it's like. I used to be that wee guy.
Yeah.
You know, I know. I think that's what makes us so goddamn good at what we do. Everybody is, the key to building a really good business is your staff have got to be authentic too.
Yeah.
Don't be me.
Yeah.
Like, remember, I created everything that we've got. So all the courses, even our women in leadership course, I created them. But I'm not a woman.
Yeah.
So I need the females they now own it.
Yeah.
So they own it. So we've got a company called The Power Within Her, which is a sister company to The Power Within Training. And they own it. They own it. It's theirs. It's your baby. It's not my baby. It's your baby.
And they got to deliver it in their style.
And they've got to deliver it in their style.
Yeah.
It's got to be authentic. And it's got to, you know, people, see if you're just teaching something for the sake of teaching, people can smell bullshit.
100%.
By the way. They can smell a bullshit. What I don't ever want that. I want people to feel like, what the fuck did I just experience here? That's it.
And at the heart of it, that's just about genuinely caring and having passion for what you do. Absolutely. James, I'm mindful of the time, so we're going to have to go quick fire, but I've got like a few general questions that I ask all guests.
Yep.
So first one, some of the best advice you've ever had in your life and why?
Some of the best advice I've ever had in life was a guy called Alistair Sheikh, who was the only proper leader I've had two really good ones, but Alistair Sheikh, when I was the country manager for Saudi Arabia, he was a VP. And I used to get into his office and he always used to ask me the same three questions. What did you do well today, James? What didn't go so well? And what are you going to do better tomorrow?
Nice.
He asked me it that often. I started to ask myself it.
Yeah.
Self-reflect.
Brilliant.
What went well? What didn't go so well? What can I do better? And by the way, all my staff do that on a Friday.
Nice.
They write all their HPAs, remember I told you about high payoffs, and then they write what went well this week, what didn't go so well, what we're going to do next week that's different.
Okay.
Get us back on track.
Flip side, what's some of the worst advice that might have been well-meaning that now you said that's bullshit?
Oh my God, the worst piece of advice is... What's the worst piece of advice I've ever had? It's a hard one there because I don't listen to shit. I've probably gone back to so I would say the worst piece of advice is probably thinking I have to know it all, right?
Right.
So people basically, if you don't know everything, then you're no good enough. Like that's probably like, you've got to know it, you've got to know. Like, how can you lead people if you don't know? Well, that's what I'm fucking hiring them for.
Sure.
So that's
okay.
I'm struggling with that one, but I would probably say is you don't need to know everything. Don't have all the answers.
Yeah.
You don't need to have the answers.
On that, the next question, it follows perfectly because I think quite often we listen to people like you on podcasts, we put you on a pedestal as you're successful, you've achieved everything, and I think it's really important to show the other side, which is we're always growing, we're always learning, and we always have challenges. So if you're happy to share, the next question is, what is a challenge that you're going through right now, and how are you overcoming it?
So the challenge that we are facing right now is, so we tried to, my plan for this year is 2.6 million. Now, we are not on target. So my challenge is, I've got the people, I've got the content, and it's almost like I've got a really great marketing team, and it's how there's something that we're not doing right, and I don't know what it is, but I'll figure it out. And it's that not knowing.
How will you figure it out?
I don't know. I don't know, but I will. I mean, I won't. The team will. The team will figure it out. You know, I don't know if I mentioned to you, we've just done a TV ad. So we did a TV ad. It's gone on Sky TV. And that's to trying different things. I've never done a TV ad before, but everybody I've ever spoke to that's done TV ads are like, completely changed my business. Well, yeah, it's a big expenditure, but why not? Why not just try it?
Learn through doing, right?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And I think that's it. And by the way, it never gets easier. You know, going from the 400,000 to 200,000 to 500,000 to 1 million to 1.5 million, it never gets any easier, right?
We all just quit now.
The challenges just get bigger.
Yeah.
But what you learn, this is why I take my hats off to the younger generation who are very driven into business, because I think, oh my God, if I had only known how powerful my brain was, where would I be right now? If I'd known this stuff years ago. Like if I could go back to, I don't know if the 17 or 18-year-old James would have listened, he'd probably tell me to go F myself.
Yeah, probably.
But he would have. He said, shut up.
Yeah.
What do you know?
Silly old man.
but that's my probably biggest regret, is when I think back to when I was younger, I wish in hindsight I knew what I know now. The power of the human mind is bonkers, and it's all perception. Our mind is just a perception of the world that we live in. Now, my world might be different for yours, and your world might be different for mine, and it's just a perception.
Right.
And that's really it.
James, this has been brilliant. If people are hearing about you for the first time, how can they get more of you in their life? Where can they follow you?
So, TikTok, I'm on Instagram, I'm on probably LinkedIn is the biggest platform, but I'm on all of them. So, James Fleming MQ. Or the Power Within training. So website, you know, I mean, if you just put James Fleming into Google, I'll be the one that will come up.
Great. Final question I ask all guests.
Go for it.
James, what is your personal definition of success?
Really, really easy. It's happiness. Content and happy. That's what success is. I used to think it was money. I used to put monetary value on success. It never works. For me, it's about that happiness, content, where I get to make choices in life, not because of how much money I've got or how much money I need, but because I put in the hard graft to get me to a point in life where I just feel content and I just feel happy. That's success, for me anyway.
Beautiful, James. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Nice. Thank you.